Look at that. 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 That is freaking predator right there.
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you? This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. Look at that. This is just a statistic. Look at that. This is just a statistic. Look at that.
Alex Jones is lying to you. That might come as a shock.
Pac-Man.
What?
Pac-Man.
What?
Pac-Man. This is just a statistic. 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 Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers. This is just a statistic. 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 Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. Look at that. 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 Look at that.
Well, it's a very special day because we have today returning to the program Mike Lindell, CEO and inventor of My Pillow.
What? What? What would you like me to say, David? I'm not a lawyer. The lawyers are lawyers. What's so hard to understand? They can pull these names. It's just like every state. Every state has people that voted that don't live in the state.
Hold on, Mike.
Hold it, David. You're doing the population of Wisconsin. I have a moral compass. 2 million, you can get them. I got requests out to every single. These are right off the voter rolls. David, you're not listening. David, you're not listening. It doesn't matter who won or lost. This stuff just happened. And I'm talking about getting rid of the machines. Mike Lindell wants to get rid of the machine. Get rid of my espresso machine. The voting machine, David. Everything that can be hacked. You got, credit cards, companies get hacked. Businesses hacked. Gas companies hacked. Who did this attack? Who did this cyber attack? That's all I'm about. We can't have computers running our elections.
Mike, you've mentioned so much. Let me just make one comment here.
Nope. Melt them down and turn them into prison bars. What? When you have a computer, you can change one number, you can do anything. You hack in and you can affect millions. Where if you had to do the same thing with paper, you'd have to have a whole cabal of people. You asked me a dumb question about getting rid of machines. If you want to be a humorous interview, get rid of my espresso machine. Give me a break. What? I'm not a lawyer. The lawyers are lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. The lawyers are lawyers. What? You should have one of my pillows too.
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh. I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what? $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people will lie. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of food. Don't raise the price of food. Don't raise the price of food.
crowd identifying with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy, healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. If highway robbery is what you're doing, don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes?
Then he went, Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump, but no more drop box. The drop boxes are just so bad. No more drop boxes. Dickinson, Hologic, and Cephahide. That was about a guy named, a rhino named Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, a real beauty. Had to give the American people their voice back by building something called Truth Essential. He voted against Kate's law, and he voted for Obama amnesty. You know, we've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel, and he's doing great. I've had more investigations than Jesse James, Billy the Could. Some of the world's greatest cricket players, from Sachin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli. As the great religious teacher Swami Vivekananda once said. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. And God bless the United States. Thank you very much. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Combat Infantryman Badge for his service. We have to keep our country great, but it's not, I mean, for some reason, it's just not great anymore. If you care about law and order, look, law and order. In normal times, roughly 40% of fresh vegetables and about 40% China. Nambia's health system is increasingly self-sufficient. This is not about virtue, cycling, and signing. And the great General and President Ulysses S. Grant, he's really come back a long way over the last 10 years, hasn't he? We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. When they gaze upon Yosemites, towering sequoias, they delivered a swift and sweeping, you know that sweeping, it was swift and it was sweeping like nobody's ever seen anything happen. Units of plasma for plasma. Donate plasma. In the failing New York Times by an anonymous, really an anonymous, gutless coward. I may ask Marilyn Lockheed, the leading woman's business. No teacher should ever be allowed to teach transgender to our children without parental consent. No. Nobody has to have parental consent, and we will totally oppose the Biden administration. This administration.
He made some statements, rough statements, on Jewish. You heard them and you know them well.
Well, welcome everybody. No rough statements on Jewish expected out of my mouth today. That I can promise you. Jonald Dump, I can't speak for, but we are standing by in New Hampshire. I know that it feels like it's still barely past the 2020 election. Part of the reason it feels that way is because the right won't stop talking about it. But it is actually 2024 election. We are in the heat of it. We are in the heat of it. We are almost, think of it, we're almost halfway through 2023. And the first Republican primary debate has been scheduled for August of this year. I don't know what day yet, but sometime in August. It's going to be, I believe, in Milwaukee. And Trump's already saying he might not go. I mean, whether it will really be a debate or not, we don't know. But quite frankly, we really are in the thick and in the wide of the 2024 presidential election. President Joe Biden has announced he will be running for re-election. Much speculation, one way and the other. Will he run? Won't he run? He is running. Nikki Haley recently saying Biden would be 82 at the start of his second term. That's true. And that she doesn't think it's likely that that Biden would make it to 86. She believes it's likely that Biden would die during his second term. Statistically, that's not true. We have the Social Security actuarial tables, and an 82-year-old man in the United States in 2022 has a life expectancy of 6.8 years. So aside from whether this is even a really good argument to vote for Nikki Haley, which, you could be like, Biden's going to die next month, I'm still not voting for Nikki Haley. She's completely out of her mind. She's also wrong on the math, which is a very popular way for Republicans to be wrong. They're wrong in spirit and they're wrong in fact. But next week, I'm probably, as a non-Biden cheerleader, you all know that I'm not a Biden cheerleader. Oh, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. As a non-Biden cheerleader, as I look at it on paper and on screen and on newsprint and on fax machine, as I look at it, the record of Biden, it's really hard to argue that the guy doesn't have what is pointing towards one of the most successful first terms by virtue of the number of accomplishments of any recent president. It's not like I was looking to present that to you with some kind of swift and swooping excitement, but it really looks that way when I examine the record. So we're going to do that next week. Today, we are in Manchester, New Hampshire. Donald Trump expected 19 minutes from now. I don't know if it will be his standard grievances about how he won in 2020 and how Hunter Biden's a criminal and how Joe Biden's a criminal and how Barack Obama's a criminal and how Hillary Clinton's a criminal and how the left are criminals and how everybody's got. I don't know if it'll be the standard list of grievances or whether Trump might present, maybe observations about the importance of diplomatic soft power during the Cold War. Maybe Trump will give a historical speech of some kind and talk about history, or maybe Trump will relate to us the story of Argentinian currency devaluation in the broader context of International Monetary Fund loans. Maybe that's what Trump will talk about today. Or maybe he'll just stand up and attack trans people. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's look at a couple of super chats that are coming in and see what is on people's minds. By the way, absolutely no need to adjust your screens in any way. I know people are saying, David, the stream just started. How are we already at 21? We're actually, thanks to Daniel Tomic, at 22 already. We have two ways of filling the bar tonight. You can sign up at joinpacman.com or you can become a Twitch subscriber. Both are very, very much welcome. Koyani5Cat5I getting a Twitch Prime subscription and saying maybe we'll get the snake poem. I don't think Trump's going to do the snake poem today. I don't think so. All right, super chats. David, sir, I write with tears in my eyes. What are the status of the mango prices? I thought the woke mobber Antifa brought the mango prices up. Listen, I've already admitted to this previously. I've basically shifted 99% to frozen mango. And the truth about mango is a complicated fruit. Mango, you get a mango, right? And you watch it like a pot of water that you're trying to boil. And it's not ripe. I go away for one night. I come back home. It's overripe. And half of the mango ends up in the trash or being flushed down the toilet. So I admit it, I have switched over to frozen mango. It's perfectly ripe. It tastes fine. And I know it's not, the epitome, it's not the climax of Afghani mangoes that you can get for like a 7-day period. I get that, okay? But it's good enough for me. And so that's where we're at as far as mangoes go. Will Trump make any rough statements on woke today? Yes, Trump will attack wokeness during today's speech. I am sure of it. That's one tuck, one no tuck. Absolutely Seinfeld reference. You've got to love it. Hoping for an audio glitch. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I have any audio glitches here.
Further scream that his days are numbered. And proclaim that none of us ever been to Trump. This is a gross prosecutorial misconduct.
I always am hoping that Antifa has been put in charge of the audio at Trump's events. And we will see that very, very soon, I am sure. Am I having the mango on its own? No. Usually with my breakfast, I have a beautiful fruit salad, and it's usually mango, wild blueberries. You're not going to catch me with these domesticated blueberries that have had all of the will to live knocked out of them, right? You know, like a domesticated cougar. I'm having wild blueberries, mango, either blackberry or raspberry. And then based on what's around and what's fresh, either a banana or a kiwi. And then sometimes I'll even sprinkle unsweetened, because they'll pry. You're not going to catch me with sweetened coconut flake. Okay. It's not going to happen here. Unsweetened coconut flake on top of the fruit salad. I have it as a side to whatever I'm having for breakfast. Wild, unadulterated. They're essentially feral blueberries is what I have. It's pretty remarkable stuff, I will say. All right, Jody says, David, as a Canadian in England, I've been watching you since 2015. It's weird to be so invested in U.S. politics. It's been pretty gross. Gross, but appreciated. Thank you. You know what's interesting, Jody? I was just in the United Kingdom, and as I told this story, was it on the bonus show? I guess it was on the bonus show, about how so many, would it be Britons? Is that the appropriate? Britons, Britons, approached me, not crying or anything like that. This is a real story. Seven different groups of people. Sometimes it was a couple, for example, approached me when I was in England and said they watched the show. One guy actually said, "What the F are you doing in my country?" But he was saying it in an endearing. He wasn't like, "Get out." He was like surprised, like, "What the F are you doing here?" At the Bath train station, in fact. And they said, we're just so obsessed with American politics because it's such a mess. So not a unique situation, Jody. Great to hear from you. Is New Hampshire the South of the North? New Hampshire feels like a social political outlier on many lists. Education, gun laws, voter restrictions, anti-trans BS, etc. New Hampshire is an odd place for sure. New Hampshire is an odd place for sure. Growing up, I was more partial to Vermont than New Hampshire. David, sir, will you now admit that Trump is a foregone conclusion to win the Republican primary? He won't go to jail and won't drop out of the race. So here's my analysis on this. If nothing changes, Trump is going to be the Republican nominee. If nothing changes. And I've been putting forth a number of similar analyses on the program recently. Thank you to Desiree DeLong. Desiree just gifted a subscription at joinpacman.com. Also, big thank you to McKinley P. for the Twitch Prime subscription, and to Duckco for the Twitch Prime subscription, putting us at 26. Folks, the coupon code today, 2 coupon codes are available. Indicted saves you a bunch of money at joinpacman.com. And indicated, which is the way that Trump misspelled indicted in his own announcement that he was being indicted, indicated saves you even more. Let's take a look at a few of the goings on outside this Trump rally and just sort of more generally at what is going on. Let's see here. Don't know what this is all about. Paris Hilton appeals to Chuck Schumer. All right, we'll deal with that a little bit later. I wanted to see if there was anything from outside the New Hampshire event that we might look at to glean some sense of the mood there. That's a Lauren Boebert speech. Oh, look at this. Our friend Jamie Raskin.
It's kind of melancholy. But it's a happy moment. You're going to have Jamie Raskin unplugged from now on.
Good for Jamie Raskin, big friend of the show, supporter of the David Pakman Show, and it looks like treatment has been going well for him, and that is such a great thing. Let's see what else we have going on here. I thought we had some video from outside. Oh, let's see. DeSantis melts down outside the protective bubble of his scripted events. Let's see that. This I have to see.
During your time at White House, did you witness any incidents?
No, none of all that's BS. No, totally BS. Yeah.
Did you say you were present during those meetings? Is that
Who said that? How would they know me? Okay, think about that. Do you honestly believe that's credible? So this is 2006. I'm a junior officer. Do you honestly think that they would have remembered me from Adam? Of course not. They're just trying to get into the news because they know people like you will consume it because it fits your preordained narrative that you're trying to spin. Focus on the facts.
This guy is seriously not ready for, like, the degree to which he is not able to handle this stuff is actually quite stunning. I don't see him as ready for prime time whatsoever. What's up with his voice? His voice is like, it's in the back of the throat. If I have to sort of like cock my head back in order to even get that, it's a very interesting thing. It's back here. It's in the back of the throat. Absolutely not. Interesting. I don't know that that's going to serve him particularly well for the campaign, if there is to be a campaign. All right, we may not have. John King is. John King used to be married to Dana Bash. I had no idea about that. Interesting. All right, I don't really care. Guy at Trump rally says he doesn't believe in God, but has a Christian worldview. That's interesting. Let's see.
So if I'm open and honest, I'm an atheist, but I align more closely with a Christian conservative worldview. And so I pretty much support Christian conservatism, that whole moral compass. And so that's what I stand for.
Wow. Pretty confused guy, huh? Interesting stuff, though, for sure. Let's see if we have anything else from outside the rally. There may not be. I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't look like the biggest crowd. Newsmax is airing YouTubers raving about how the channel is talking about the New World Order. Oh my God, it's conspiracy theorist Mark Dice. That I can do without. Trump putting out another one of these stupid videos. I'm just going to skip it. We're going to get plenty of Trump. A guy with a Melania poster board is at the rally. We covered this Tucker video on today's podcast, so I don't want to talk about it right now. But the funniest part of this video is Tucker dressing up like he still has a show. I don't know why I find that hilarious. I imagine that he's wearing no pants on the bottom. Let's see. New commercial during the Trump rally broadcast. The guy who recommended ivermectin has a new supplement. Oh, this I have to see.
Protein. Spike protein is the toxic substance that attaches to your cells to allow mRNA to enter. Worse, both COVID and the vaccine function by using spike proteins to attach to your cells. Many of us have become overloaded with excess spike protein from our surroundings over the past 3 years and haven't made the connection.
The past 3 years. It's been a long 3 years.
Between not feeling 100% and spike protein overload. This is a sad reality that we all have to address. Fortunately, there is help. The chief medical board at the...
Someone I know actually had a spike protein overload. Next thing I knew, there was mango everywhere. It was a really weird thing to see.
Wellness company, including Dr. Peter McCullough, the doctor that recommended ivermectin and
ivermectin. Oh, that's genius. These read, you know, I've said before, I don't know this. The woman we're hearing from is, hold on, let's see. Where was she? The woman reading that ad is this woman on the left here. Okay.
Sales would have gone up astronomically.
It's shocking to me that someone with terrible diction has a broadcast program. And this isn't about like, oh, she has a disability. She has a stutter. It's not, she just has terrible diction and she doesn't seem to know a lot of words. You're doing an ad based on this is the guy who recommended ivermectin, and you mispronounce ivermectin.
We all have to address. Fortunately, there is help. The chief medical board at the wellness company, including Dr. Peter McCullough, the doctor that recommended ivermectin.
Oh, God, inject the ivermectin right into my veins.
And hydroxychloroquine to President Trump back in 2020.
Yeah. If there's any greater credential than having recommended ivermectin to Trump. Dear God, these people are nuts. All right. Thanks to You Do Suck as well as Harry for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 28. I also want to say thank you to no one else. No, in all seriousness, coupon code today is indicted. We are moments away from hearing from Donald Trump, and we'll look at a couple other items here if we can from outside the rally. Guy at Trump rally. I would take a bullet for Trump. A lot of us would. Yeah, probably not a lie.
My support of Donald Trump is unwavering. I would take a bullet for the man. Seriously. And a lot of us would. And we're going to, even if they wouldn't put him on the ballot, we'd write him in.
Okay, that's an interesting idea. Do the write-ins. Thanks to Weatherboxer for the Twitch Prime subscription. 24 months with Weatherboxer. Very much appreciate that. It is so cult-like here. This same guy believes Trump was sent by God to preserve Abe Lincoln's dream.
I think it's very important to support Donald Trump. If not, our nation goes down. I believe he was sent by God to preserve Abraham Lincoln's promise that a government of the people and by the people and for the people will not perish. But I think it's rather ironic because I remember, probably nobody else knows this armory in 1976. I was here when I was in high school. And this is where Ronald Reagan gave his speech announcing that he was primarying President Ford.
Yeah, really. So, and because of that, we know that it's just going to be an incredible event here with Donald Trump. Bay Photo asks, do you think there's a possibility Meatball Ron decides not to run, but instead tries to repair his relationship with Trump for a VP pick? I think it is possible DeSantis doesn't run. I do not believe DeSantis has any shot at being Trump's VP. In fact, I think Trump's leaning towards a female VP at this particular point in time. Could be wrong about that, as with everything. Brian says via Super Chat, love the show. I used to think conservative media was the most dangerous thing in the country, but I'm starting to wonder if it's helping Dems because it is so over-the-top crazy. Yes, still nuts, but maybe a shift. Yeah, I mean, the problem is it's hard to know the balance. On the one hand, conservative media radicalizes a lot of people who fall for it. On the other hand, it also disabuses many people of even considering voting for Republicans because it is so insane. I don't know where the balance is on that. David, sir, the ATF kicked down my front door to take my stove. The agents were crying. Hey, you want it? Here's a funny story, by the way. I recently said goodbye. I held a funeral and burial service for my gas stove. It was just showing its age. It was time for a new stove. So I went with induction. It's an electric stove. I once had an induction stove about a year ago at another place I lived, and it was so great that I decided I'm getting an induction stove. And it was a beautiful delivery, and I saluted and cried, actually, as they took the stove. And, you know, Joe Biden even called and said, never again will you be allowed to have a gas stove. So they took the gas stove. The guy who delivered the new induction stove was proselytizing me to Christianity. Not a joke, folks. Not a joke. He said to me, how did it even start? He started with, he saw my baby daughter and said, you're married. And I said, actually, I'm not married. And he said, oh, well, you know, either way, marriage is a gift from God. And I said, is it? And at this point, I'm like, dude, hook up the frickin' stove and get out of here. And he said, yeah. You know why? Because in Matthew 64, you know, started citing something, blah, 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 blah. And I just said to him, in these situations, I don't say I'm Jewish because some proselytizing evangelicals like the Jews and they're like, oh, you're going to help us bring Jesus. Then you'll die, but you'll help us bring Jesus. Others don't like the Jews. So I just said, I'm not actually religious. He said, that's okay. God still provides marriage to everyone. And it got really, really, really awkward. Now, 10 years ago, David Pakman would have reported the guy and tried to get him fired. Now, I just feel bad because I'm like, this guy probably doesn't even really make that much money. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to report it. I'll just, you know, never get a delivery from this company again. But it was very, very unprofessional. I agree. $50 super chat with from Tiffy Kitty, who says, David, sir, I come to you with tears in my eyes from laughing so hard at the MAGA cult over on Troth Central. I highly recommend. The meltdowns are priceless. It is crazy on Troth. It is crazy on Troth Central. It really, really is. Whoa. We are seeing a massive dump of memberships. Our great friend from Tokyo, Kyoko Awaya, just dumped in 5 gifted memberships. If you want a free membership, do not even think about emailing me. just go to davidpakman.com/free membership and sign up for a free membership. My request to you today is simple, and it is extraordinarily straightforward. If you find any value at all in what we do, consider getting a membership on my website. It's so quick and it is so easy. You go to joinpakman.com. You sign up. If you know how to fill out a form on the internet, that's really all you need to know. If you would like a discount, it's so easy. It's criminally cheap. You use the term indicated as a coupon. Indicted as a coupon code, and you'll get a nice discount. If you want an even bigger discount, you can use the coupon code indicated, which is how Donald Trump misspelled indicted on his own Truth post. And then the discount is even bigger. So indicted, big discount. Indicated, even bigger discount. And I will thank everybody who signs up. Oh, and thanks Kyoko, who just gifted one more, making many free memberships available to people. And also thank you to Boshimonos signing up via Twitch Prime. Super chats keep pouring in. Trump expected right now. Any moment Trump is expected. Hey, David, love the Candace Owens. David Pakman has no soul clip. When will it be added to the member soundboard? That's a great question, Johnny. I don't think I have it on this soundboard. Hold on.
That is a frickin' predator right there.
Damn it. Hold on a second.
He's going to represent you long and hard.
No. I have to add it. I'm in the other studio today. I've got to get it added here. We're going to make it happen, Johnny. We're going to make it happen. David, are you actually on Troth? If you are, thanks for doing it for us. No, I mean, let me see. I think I have a Truth Social account, but I don't think I'm ever logged in when I'm on. I never use it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I must have an account, but I'm never logged in. Apparently you don't need one, I guess, to look at stuff on Troth. It's all very weird. Very, very weird. All right, let's do a couple voicemails here before we move on, because there is a lot going on the voicemail number. Let's see, a lot of detractors, I guess. Let's see here. Again, let's listen to this one.
Hey, David, this is Ivan again. Because they keep saying spending is causing inflation. How can you say that? Spending is how the economy works.
Okay, I'm going to look into that and see what I can research. Let me see.
Nikki Haley speaks like this. This is why you don't like her speeches. Every sentence she says ends like this. No matter what she's saying, she ends like this. So that's why you don't find her speeches interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, that is probably an accurate assessment, I have to say.
David, just wondering who's writing Nikki Haley's speeches. Is it the Rosetta Stone people or what? This is one time in America where people live, and what we need to...
All right, so a lot of people not very impressed by Nikki Haley's speeches.
David, I've seen 2 videos today of yours on April the 26th. Please, man, look in the mirror before you go online and comb your hair. It's unprofessional. It's distracting. Look in the mirror before you go live. Comb your hair.
Yeah, so I talk about this on the podcast today. Oh, thanks, Bionic Bill, for the Twitch Prime subscription. Really appreciate that. I got a bunch of very, very nice messages from people because on yesterday's show, I had a really weird thing sticking out of my hair. And people were worried. Some people thought that I'm having an alcohol problem, which I'm not. I honestly, I really don't even drink anymore at all. I never drank a lot, but I don't drink at all anymore. I just kind of lost my taste for it, weirdly, since the baby was born and I go to bed at 10 every day. But then some people are like, David, sometimes when people start letting their grooming fall to the wayside, it's because something's going on. It's like depression, this, that, or the other thing. It's quite literally that my days are so busy that I shower 45 minutes before going to bed. And my hair is so thick. It's this thick Semitic hair. It takes 4 hours to dry. And because of the schedule, I'm going to bed with wet hair, and then it basically freezes in a weird position, and I can't get it under control the next day. That's all it is. It's not alcohol. It's not drugs. It's not depression. It's nothing beyond that. And so I made a point last night to shower at a more appropriate time, and today, as you can tell, my hair is totally fine. Big thank you to Chelsea Smith for gifting a subscription at joinpacman.com. I so appreciate that. Super chats, more super chats are coming in. Have you heard her address the repugnant abomination Marjorie Taylor Greene saying adopted parents aren't parents? I think you mean adoptive parents. Yeah, she's disgusting. She's really disgusting. David, sir, about your take on audiobooks the other day. They're great for people with ADHD, easier to pay attention while doing chores. Well, it's hard to read a paper book while doing chores anyway. So I can certainly understand. Big thank you to Sheila Owen. Sheila gifting a membership at joinpacman.com to a lucky recipient. If you would like one of the free memberships, go to davidpacman.com/free membership. How are we doing as far as YouTube goes? It looks like you ended up with more subscriptions after the Twitter fiasco. Yeah, you know what's really funny? Hold on, I have it here. So we just breached 1.7 million YouTube subscriptions. The entire Twitter fiasco where I, quote, blamed children for being killed, which was the craziest interpretation possible. It gave us like 35,000 new YouTube subscribers. It's actually crazy. If it weren't for the threats to my family, it would have been a uniquely positive thing. And everybody else, forgot about it. None of the people who were furious about my tweet actually watched my show. So it turned out that it was just like a huge audience boon. And yes, we have now breached 1.7 million, which is, I consider it absolutely fantastic. All right, let's see what's going on here. Newsmax is covering this thing. Let's see.
Democrats who have run this government and this country into the ground to deliver innocent illegal alien children into the hands of criminals. Would you comment, please?
And to think Joe Biden has lost track of more than 80.
Wow, this is so dumb. And then over here on Right Side Broadcasting.
Handles for Truth Social?
I am on
Hey,
Truth
let's
Social.
wait for a second. Let's go ahead and blow up your social media handles right now.
Sure,
on
follow
Truth
me on
Social.
Truth. It's Liz.
Yeah.
It's as easy as can possibly be. And Twitter, I would love to reach 100,000 on Twitter. I know that sounds crazy, but we're not that far away. So, if you're back on Twitter, I know a lot of you left for a long time. I don't blame you, but Elon's on there doing some great things, restoring a lot of accounts. So
Okay, I guess now Twitter's good again because she's back on it or Trump's back on it or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Mark says, I'm attracted to dark, thick hair, and I literally mainly date Jewish guys. Your hair is better than good. It is hot. Well, thank you, Mark. Wow, I'm flattered. And let's see what we have here. Oh, this is the one from before. Okay. All right, Donald Trump 7 minutes late, expected any moment in New Hampshire. It's going to be very important stuff. Do we have any voicemails from Whitney? Let's see. Do we have any Whitney voicemails? Let me see what I've got for you. See if I can find anything. I actually don't know if I do. Let's see. It's tough to spot the ones from Whitney, and it's hard to explain why. Let me see here. Whitney. Whitney often has a lot to say. No, I actually don't see anything from Whitney, interestingly enough. Going all the way back to April 6th. Yeah, no, nothing from Whitney. But, I mean, we can listen to something else. How about... Oh, I don't know. Trying to find something that will titillate.
Hey, David. Being that the right is so incredibly reactionary, do you think that if the left just completely stopped talking about trans in all respects, that the right would kind of just get bored with it and drop it, and that might be an effective strategy?
It's an interesting question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I genuinely don't know the answer to that. Would the right, if the left stopped reacting every time the right goes anti-trans? No, I think the right would just get away with a lot of anti-trans insanity, quite frankly. Jody says via Super Chat, Keith Olbermann calls Marjorie Taylor Greene Barney Rubble. It's only slightly less funny than Pilla. I know. That actually has a nice ring to it. Very, very nice ring to it. Nick says, David, sir, can you grace us with Trump audio glitches? Yeah, let me see what I've got here.
Further scream that his days are numbered. And proclaim that none of us ever been to Trump. This is a gross prosecutorial misconduct. And our incredible, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. The Biden. Let me recover my ears for 1 second.
Thanks to Ms. Frazzled for the Twitch Prime subscription, putting us at 40. Tony Crump says, is horsey face Marjorie going to be there stealing the attention? That's below the belt. That's a hit below the ovaries, I would say. I don't know that we need to go into that sort of thing necessarily. At least I don't think I need to. Let me put it that way. Where is Trump? We never know. He's late all the time. It's always very difficult to know when and where Donald Trump is. Let's see if I've got another voicemail for anybody. Here's one.
David, love the show. Question for you. How come people like Hannity and people like that, they always refer to Trump. They always call him President Trump, President Trump. They never call him what he actually is, which is a private citizen, Mr. Trump. Now, I know Hannity never called...
So there's two sides to this. Obviously, when you look at, like, for example, Right Side Broadcasting, and they have their headline and it says, awaiting President Trump. There is a convention where once you've been president, you have that title. It's sort of like Hillary Clinton is still addressed as Madam Secretary, even though she's the former Secretary of State. The difference is usually on TV, when there's going to be an appearance by a former president, it will say like FMR, former abbreviated, former President Trump. And places like Right Side Broadcasting and Newsmax, and to some degree, even Fox News, they don't do it. So there are two sides to that. There is like you have the title for life. There's that aspect to it. But there is also the other side of it, which is it all relates to their claim that Biden's not a legitimate president and the entire thing. So it's all pretty gross stuff, to be perfectly frank. All right, let's see if we have any other video from outside this event. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend talking to a guy who went from Connecticut to the rally.
So what's your plans? You're the youngest one right now in Connecticut. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
He's the youngest what in Connecticut? What does that even mean?
Well, I got inspired by a man you know quite well. His name's Donald Trump. And my goal someday is to get higher up in politics. I don't really know where that's going to lead me, but I keep the same principles that he has. Never give up, never give in, never back down. And as a young conservative, I've taken a lot of heat, especially in school. I've been called all the labels, racist, sexist. I've been yelled at by teachers because I stood for the Pledge of Allegiance when no one else would. So I've kind of learned that, especially in Connecticut, which is a quite liberal state, you got to stand for what you believe in. So I'd like to maybe move up and run for office when I'm done pursuing my education, you know, get that degree under your belt, and hopefully maybe one day run for a national office.
That's what you got to do. I love it. Well, let's just give a good shout out on his outfit here. I love the red pants.
I just got the new pin, right?
Yeah. And you got this good tie here. You got to love the tie, Trump.
You got to dress right when you're going to see Mr. America, right?
You have to dress.
I am not going to comment. I'm not going to comment. That's just where we are. All right. It looks like, is this Trump? Is that Trump? Is it? No, it's not. Something seems to be happening.
You campaign from your basement. That's pretty much what you...
All right. Any moment now we're going to hear from Trump. Graphic Brew says via Super Chat, we won't see Trump until the empty background chairs are filled. He's too vain to walk by empty seats. Well, seems to be happening. Thanks to Archaean Canadian for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 41. Huge thank you to Russell McKeithen. Russell McKeithen just signed up at joinpacman.com using the coupon code indicated. Coupon code indicated. You can sign up at joinpacman.com and I will shout you out. I really do appreciate everybody who's been signing up and supporting. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. Looks like we are moments away from Donald Trump's speech. This is supposedly a campaign speech. Something makes me think, rather than a campaign speech with policy, it's going to be Trump presenting his usual grievances that we've become accustomed to. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what is the most likely thing here. All right, let's see if we have any other footage from the Trump event. Let's see what we have. We might have gotten to the end of it. Yeah, now it looks like we're elsewhere. Oh, wait, no, we got one more. Guy at Trump rally with an autographed Marjorie Taylor Greene hat.
Nice shot of this hat. I thought it was President Trump's signature. May I just for a second?
Sure.
The great MTG signed his hat there. You got to love that.
I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hope she's vice president one day. I really do. I love her.
That makes two of us. All right.
There you go. That's there. He is in love with Marjorie Taylor Greene. For people who are wondering, this guy really is dating Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's not a joke. I mean, it's a joke in a sense, but what I mean is it's a true statement. It's a true statement is what I'm saying. Okay. Big thank you to Nuke dumping in a bomb of a $50 super chat. Really appreciate that, Nuke. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Also, thanks to Firefly for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 43 today. We are moments away from Donald Trump speaking in New Hampshire. Trump expecting to talk about a structuralist foreign policy perspective today and to, again, weigh in on the importance of soft diplomatic power in the Cold War era. It will be a very different speech than what we're used to from Trump. He's really going to, it's going to be a substantive speech, as you can imagine. Actually, it's probably not, if I think about it totally honestly. They seem to be bringing more chairs onto the stage. It's all weird. It's all very weird.
We're anti-Trump. A lot of them lost their positions. So Liz Cheney. But this team, this looks like an excited team. They're here, they're fist bumping, smiling ear to ear. I'd say 95% of them are wearing the red MAGA hats. And I think is that a 45 or 47 on this side? My vision, I think we both lack in that department. But at this point, the crowd is even more excited. They are standing, yelling, as you can hear.
Yeah, it's an electric atmosphere there. Big thank you to Haley Brady, who just gifted a subscription at joinpacman.com. I really appreciate that, Haley. A couple other voicemails maybe we will get to here if we have time. Let's see. A bunch of people leaving many voicemails.
Hey, kid, I see you tried posting your shit on YouTube again.
I tried? What do you mean I tried? We've been on YouTube for over a decade. We have 1.7 million subscribers, 35 million views a month. What do you mean I tried?
Except that curly-haired little freak that was on there, it still had your name as the post. Well, an hour later, I went back through all of YouTube, and guess what? You're not on there.
What could possibly be happening that this guy thinks all of my content is gone from YouTube? Like, whatever you think of my content, it's pretty damn easy to find my content on YouTube. In fact, I think if you just start typing in, well, this might depend, but if you type in DAVI, just with DAVI, my name is suggested in YouTube search, right below David Guetta, if you can imagine. And if you search my name, it says Like 30,000 results. How could this guy possibly have missed that?
Why don't you try it again?
All right, I'll try it again. I'm going to try posting something to YouTube again.
Money can buy anything. I could buy and sell your whole entire family and not even miss the money in one day.
Yeah, there's an idea. Oh, God. He could buy the entire... All right, well, Trump's here, so... By the way, that guy's from Mississippi. Is it fair to say the MAGA people are like juggalos? They're always saying they're canceled and hold gatherings. Not the brightest people either. God, I don't know what to tell you about the MAGA people. I really don't know what to tell you about them. They're really in another world. Thank you to Office Drummer, the great Office Drummer, re-upping the Twitch Prime subscription. Check out Office Drummer on Twitch and YouTube. Great drumming content. And Office Drummer, a MAGA guy, fine, but still welcome here. Everybody's welcome here, even though Office Drummer is MAGA. That's okay. No, I'm kidding. Listen, honestly, I don't know. I've never heard Office Drummer's political views, but I don't think it's MAGA. All right. Welcome, everybody. Donald Trump holding a campaign event in New Hampshire. I expect it will be measured and sober with detailed policy proposals, including a healthcare proposal, a trade proposal. Who am I kidding? He'll probably say they stole the election and trans people are bad. Trump's eyes almost completely swollen shut at this event. You can usually gauge how high or low energy the speech will be. The more swollen shut the eye, the lower the energy in general, but you never know for sure. You never know for sure, and that's why we're going to be listening very closely here. Thanks to Graham Henry for the website subscription at joinpacman.com. Let's listen. Let's take it all in. It is campaign 2024 in full swing.
Well, thank you very much. What a group this is. And we want to thank the fire marshals because they had a lot of work to do to get this crowd. We got a lot of people outside, thousands, and
reports are there's like a couple thousand people there total.
Honored to be here in Manchester, a place that I've gotten to know very well on the political trail and love, and in particular to be in the great state of New Hampshire.
Let's actually go to a different feed.
As I promised you, and as you know from the beginning, I fought to protect and defend New Hampshire's beloved first in the nation primary, and you got it. You got it. And next year, we're going to make history together when we win New Hampshire primary for the third straight time. We've had a lot of success here. Today, I'm deeply honored to receive the endorsements of more than 50 New Hampshire state legislators, many of whom are on stage with us and some of whom are in the audience because I think structurally maybe the stage couldn't take it. But I just want to introduce them, if I could, quickly. They're great people. They went out there right from the beginning.
Sometimes Trump will name 50 people at the top of a speech and mispronounce many of the names.
And they're just special people. Representatives Kimberly Iber, Louis Andrus, Glenn Bailey, Harry Bean, Jacob Brouillard, Swami Vive Kamunand. Hello, Claudine. Tim Cahill, Suchin Tendolkar, Ambrose, Brian Cole, Duvirot Kohli, Bra DeSimone.
Oh, man.
Ron Dunn. Tracy Emmerich. Thank you, Tracy. Keith Erf. Larry Gagne.
A rhino named Mitt Romney.
Ed Gorski. Gerald Griffin.
We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel.
Juliet Harvey Bolia.
Oh, God.
Gregory Hill. Thank you, Gregory. Thomas Kuczynski.
Sefa Hyde.
Kelly. Stephen Kennedy. Abul Khan.
This is really the way to fire up a crowd. Read a list of 50 names in the first 2 minutes of your speech. Just public speaking 101. This is the way they teach it at MIT.
McDonald. Charles Melvin. Dane Nagel. Thank you, Dane. Christine Perez. Joseph Petre. Tom Plousage. John Puderstick.
Are these all real names?
Kevin Pratt. Arlene Quartiello. Andrew Renzolo. Jennifer Rhodes. Terry Roy. John Sellers. Thank you, John. Vanessa Sheehan. Lisa Smart. Look, these are endorsements. How good is this? Lisa Smart. Thank you. These are endorsements. James Spillane.
Isn't it Spillane?
Stone. James Summers. Jeffrey Tenzar.
President Donald J. Trump.
Dick Thaxton. Jordan Urlili. Jordan, thank you. Lily Walsh. Kenneth Weiler. Robert Wary. And Clayton Wood.
Wow, we finally got to the end.
And somebody said, do you think I should introduce them? It's 51. Should I do? I said, you know what? They were out there at the front. Many of them were here from the beginning. I said, I'll take the time. You know, I'm not sure if television's too thrilled. Look at all these people. I don't know if television's thrilled, but we're thrilled, right? We're thrilled.
This is crazy. What an electric atmosphere inside the venue.
Bruce Breton and Lou Gargiolo, who have been with us for a long time, right from the beginning. Thank you both.
This is worse than when I thank members, I have to tell you.
And I want to thank President of the New Hampshire Federation of College Republicans, Harrison Spalthorf. Harrison, wherever you may be. Thank you, Harrison. New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women President, Elizabeth Girard. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. The founder of the 603 Alliance, Fran Windolbo. And also my New Hampshire senior advisor who's been with me for a long time, Steve Stepanek. Thank you very much, Steve. Great job. Great job from day one. My state director, Trevor Nuglili. Trevor, thank you very much. As well as somebody who really did a great job, ran for office, did very well, Caroline Levitt. Thank you. Thank you. Did a great job.
You could actually chart on a graph with X and Y axes, number of names read by Trump, possibility that he mangles one, and I think it would basically, you know, it would rapidly approach 99.9%.
2015, maybe before that, but he's been a friend of mine for a long time, loves this state, and he's a political pro, Corey Lewandowski. Where is he?
Oh, God.
Where is he? He's such a good guy. Thank you, Corey. And by the way, we will take a few questions if you want after we're finished. Is that okay? So
Really
I do
great
that early
speech.
so you can think. Otherwise, if I do it right at the end, that's the better way to do it. I'll finish and then I say, any questions? Okay, let's get out of here. Now you have a whole little time to think about it, but we'll take a few questions, okay? You think Biden takes questions? I don't think so. I don't think so.
will ban
You saw
men.
yesterday, he had the cue card. He said, call this one. This is what she's going to ask, and here's the answer. They never did that with me in the White House, I can tell you. On Tuesday, Joe Biden officially announced that he will seek 4 more disastrous years in the White House. As you know, I've done very well against crooked Hillary Clinton, but today I'm going to do this, and I think this could be maybe the most important part of what I'm going to say, because this is going to be a major announcement. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? I will be retiring the name Crooked from Hillary Clinton and her moniker. And I'm going to give her a new name. I don't know, like maybe Lovely Hillary or Beautiful Hillary. But I'm going to retire the name Crooked so that we can use the name for Joe Biden, because he'll be known from now on as Crooked Joe Biden.
All right. Ooh. Trump just gained 1 million votes, folks.
You would think that Hillary would be very happy today. She's out there someplace celebrating.
I don't think she cares.
Because there's never been anyone in the history of American politics so crooked or dishonest as Joe Biden. And the press absolutely refuses to report it, all that press back there. Because, frankly, they're just as crooked as he is, and they are. They're just as crooked. The choice in this election is now between strength and weakness, between success or failure, between safety or anarchy, between peace or conflict, and prosperity or catastrophe. We are living in a catastrophe. With your vote on November 5th, 2024, we're going to crush Joe Biden and the White House, that gorgeous, beautiful White House. We have to take it back. We're going to beat him at the ballot box, and we're going to...
Guys, recycling an old nickname is not exactly high energy.
Biden announced his presidential campaign by, get this, a prepackaged video. I was going to do that for you today. I'll do a little video, send it up to New Hampshire. You wouldn't have been very happy about that. But when you're running for president, you think at least one time you'd get up and say, I'm running for president. Where am I going? Where the hell am I going? I want to get out. Oh, no, over there, over there.
Oh, boy. You can tell from the speech so far that Trump would do a lot for the middle class if he were elected, can't you?
A prepackaged video that took supposedly 7 takes to get it right, if right is what you want to call it. In it, he says he's running because Trump and MAGA pose a threat to democracy. Can you believe it?
True.
Got to explain. MAGA is Make America Great Again, right? No threat there. No, it's Biden who poses the threat to democracy because he is grossly incompetent, has no idea what he's doing, and basically he doesn't have a clue, and that's a very bad position to put our country in. Our country is in a very dangerous position right now. Very, very dangerous. We're now in a nation, and we are a nation in serious decline, a nation that has lost its way. We're led by a hopeless person, but we will win in 2024 and make America great again. We can do it. It's not too late. It's not too late. But we've got 1.5 years to go. That's a long time with what's happening to our country. That's a long time still. With such a calamitous presidency, it's almost inconceivable that Biden would have even thought of running for re-election. He's destroyed our country, and yet he says in his recorded piece that he wants to finish the job. That's right, he wants to finish the job of destroying our country. But on that, he's actually very close. He is very close to finishing the job, unfortunately. One of the most important issues in this campaign will be which candidate can rescue. And this country needs a
big
rescuing.
glitch there.
We have
Very
to
big
rescue
glitch.
America from the wreckage of the Biden economy. Under my leadership, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. In fact, we actually did it twice. That horrible gift from China came over. COVID, or the China virus, as many people say. Actually, in New Hampshire, you say China virus, pretty much. But now we will do it again. We will do it again. We passed the largest tax cuts and reforms in American history. We cut more job-killing regulations than any administration ever, also in history. We achieved American energy independence, and we were about set to do American energy dominance, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia combined, ×2. And we slashed the price of gasoline down all the way down to $1.87 a gallon. Doesn't that sound good?
Now, of course, it was way up from that when Trump left office, but who cares, right?
Happened to your energy. Now everything's up. Now it's happening to everything. Thank you. Thanks to our policies, the typical New Hampshire family saw their annual income rise by $6,000, the largest increase in recorded history, the largest. Nobody's ever seen that, by $6,000. Everybody was happy. For decades, the corrupt globalist establishment savagely betrayed New Hampshire workers. You know that better than most. I see those beautiful factory buildings. Some are now apartment houses, and some are now senior citizens. But the factories, that's what you had to do. The factories, there's so many gone. Your state lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs after the NAFTA disaster and China's entrance into the World Trade Organization. But after years...
So it's basically the same speech he gave in 2016 and 2020 with no proposed solutions, or the same vague solutions he already failed to provide, raising real questions as to, if he already didn't do it when he had 4 years, how is he going to do it next time?
That's considered now the best trade deal ever made. So good, in fact, that Mexico and Canada are now trying to renegotiate the deal with the Biden administration. I say, don't do it. Don't talk about it. Don't do it. Somebody over there told me it's unfair. I said, you know what? We lived with unfair for decades. Now they say it's unfair. No, we made a great deal, and you're all manufacturers, farmers, everybody is benefiting. USMCA, we're very proud of that. Don't let them renegotiate. I withdrew from the job-crushing Trans-Pacific Partnership. That would have totally destroyed this country. They were all set to sign. Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, they were all set to sign it. And I stood up to China like no administration has ever done before.
Not quite.
Bringing in hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, pouring into our treasury from China when no other president had gotten even 10 cents. China. Not one president got, China. And I literally mean not 10 cents. China. We got hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't think they like me too much, but that's okay. Well, everybody else is paid off by China, including, by the way, our president, okay? It's a big problem. You wonder why he does nothing about China, why he doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing, because he got millions of dollars from China. You see it. I made big promises to the people of New Hampshire, and as your president, I kept every single promise.
Right. Replacement for Obamacare, wall across the entire border that Mexico will pay for, fixing trade, solving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Yeah, come on, guys.
The money we were taking in from China, we took a little bit out, like a little bit's hundreds of millions of dollars, by the way, but that's a lot to a lobsterman. And we brought it back. I made a deal with the European Union to completely eliminate tariffs on American lobster. You know that. They were charging us big tariffs so that we couldn't sell to them.
the first EU tariff reduction on any product in over 20 years. Nobody ever asked the EU, or if they did, they didn't get it, because they're very difficult people to deal with. I want to tell you that. They don't care about us, they care about them. And maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, right? I also opened up 5,000 square miles of ocean that Barack Obama closed to New England fishermen. You know about that?
Whoa.
But you also know I opened them up totally. Nobody could even tell me why they closed. Think of miles and miles of beautiful ocean front. And now I understand that they want to close it up again. Is that true? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yeah, let Canada do all. You know, Canada's the one that wanted it closed because they want to do the business. And I gave our farmers $28 billion out of the tariffs that we took in from China because they were treated very unfairly. I said, how much would it be? They said, approximately $28 billion. I said, I'm going to take it from China. China paid them $28 billion. Who else is going to do that one, okay? Tell that one to President Xi. You mind giving our farmers $28 billion? Actually, better than that, we signed an incredible trade.
What's interesting is that the speech isn't about anything. Like, there's no takeaway. Like, if you leave, you go, you know, I'm really interested in how Trump laid out his vision as to how healthcare should be decoupled from employment, and like, it's just rambling. It's not about anything.
I put America first, everything. When I left office, we handed Joe Biden the fastest economic recovery ever recorded, all with no inflation.
Here's an idea. What if I go to New Hampshire and for 90 minutes do Biden dementia material and rehash my phrases from 2016, take a couple questions and glitch badly? What do you think? Let's do it. Let's fly you there right away, sir.
It's raised everything, and now everything's so high, and now they've taken on their own inflationary trend. It's not just energy anymore. But they did that with energy. They destroyed our economy with the high prices. All electric cars. Oh, that's wonderful. Everybody, they don't have enough electric to turn on the lights. And now they're going to say, let's do all electric. I love electric cars. They go for about an hour and a half. Then you're in the middle of nowhere. You're saying, how do I get?
You know, I recently drove from Brooklyn to Montreal, Canada in the electric car. Stopped for a 15-minute charge during a diaper change. Not my diaper, obviously, my baby daughter. And it went beautifully, filled with chargers in Canada.
0.1%, and the forecast show it's going to be getting much, much worse. So we're at 1% and getting worse. That doesn't sound too prosperous, does it? Look at these other countries that are eating our lunch. I had them. They were doing anything they could. They respected your leader. They respected your country, I want to tell you. They saw me coming. They weren't happy. They weren't happy. Every time France, or one of the countries, but France in particular, they were a little difficult. I really like their leader, but he's a very difficult guy. And whenever he got cute and wanted to tax our people or our companies, I just say, that's okay. We're going to put a 100% tariff on all wine and champagne coming into the United States. They would say, no, we will not do it. We have decided we won't do it. No, but I don't think they do that. I don't think they do that in this group here.
China.
We should have tremendous power. We have tremendous economic power that we don't use. But, you know, we better be smart because soon we're not going to have economic.
France especially is just desperate for our wine. You know that?
Office, the typical family has lost over $7,400 in annual income. Think of that. Inflation is out of control. Banks are collapsing.
Look at the bottom of the screen. New scans discover links to Jesus. Did you see that at the bottom?
Wages are down 24 months in a row.
Overwhelming evidence of the supernatural. Look at what's on the bottom. Special report. Oh, my God.
The trade deficit has surged to a record $1 trillion. Household wealth has declined by $4 trillion. These are numbers that nobody's ever seen before. You know, they stand up and they say, no, the economy is good. The economy is horrible. After Biden shut down the Keystone XL pipeline that I started and passed a $20 billion tax hike on American energy, gas prices in New Hampshire.
Hey, look at this. Trump said booming economy turned to shreds under Biden. What about providing a single fact to back that up? Unemployment rate. I mean, give us a fact. Give us something.
It has the highest electricity costs in the entire nation. Tell your governor he ought to work on that a little bit. You know that, Steve? You have the highest cost in the entire nation. I will quickly be able to cut that number in half or more than that. I'll do that. Nobody knew that. New Hampshire has the highest electricity cost, I think the highest energy cost, but highest electricity cost in the nation.
Doesn't he say that in every state he goes to now? Like, you guys are suffering the worst in the country?
The highest electric cost in the nation. They don't want to give you, they don't want you driving. Like, how about driving for about an hour and 15 minutes? And then say, it's time to get a charge. Joe Biden cares only about enriching his own family. I care about enriching your family and you. A Biden victory will be bad for you, good for China, and truly great for these globalists. We got a lot of globalists.
Here
a Trump
we go.
victory will be bad for the globalists, the rhinos, the communists, the Marxists, but it will be great for the hardworking people of New Hampshire.
What a crowd.
Within hours of my inauguration, I will begin the process of terminating every Biden policy that is brutalizing New Hampshire
No, you won't.
and all U.S. workers.
What I would love to hear Trump explain is, if you start with the results of 2020, where has Trump gained support? It's like certainly not in Arizona, not in Wisconsin. Where has Trump gained support since 2020 that would then get him to a victory?
When I did that, and I was actually getting 12, 13, 14 cut down. It was amazing, actually. But they put many of them back. But they haven't been able to up your taxes yet because we have a very strong bill. We went through everything to make sure that nobody could tamper with it. But they're trying to raise your taxes very greatly. Instead of growing the size and scope of the federal government every year, we will shrink it every year with aggressive cost reduction targets for each federal department. But we'll take care of our military. We have to. We have no choice. A lot of bad actors out there looking to do harm. We will take care of our military. You know, I rebuilt our entire military. They gave $85 billion of it to Afghanistan, but in probably the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, $85 billion worth of brand new military equipment.
If I think of the top 10 embarrassing moments, they all involve Trump.
Made New Hampshire a manufacturing and industrial powerhouse in the old days. Remember the old days? You see those buildings all over and you say, wow. I did a great job in renegotiating trade deals with other countries. They were the worst, the most horrible deals I've ever seen. I'd often wonder to myself, who the hell negotiated these deals? They were so bad, you'd say they were either like very, very stupid people or they hated our country. Could only be one of two. I think both. Yeah, I think probably. I think maybe both. No, the worst deals I've ever seen with Japan and with South Korea, Mexico, Canada, China, all of these countries, it was just amazing how bad they were. And, you know, like South Korea, we take care of their economy. We take care of everything. We take care of the military. They're right next door to Kim Jong-un. He and I have a very good relationship. People would say, it's not good to have a good relationship. Yeah, it's very good to have a good relationship. It really is. But he's not so happy with Biden. He says bad things about Biden. But what I really wanted to do, the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, you know what that is? That will go along with the Trump tax cuts, which they haven't been able to terminate because we've drawn them so powerfully under the Reciprocal Trade Act. This is, think of this, every country, do we have any children here? No. Couple. Close, that's such a good-looking guy. Put your hands over your ears. Every country, he'll hear it soon enough. Every country is screwing us, right? So they've all charged us taxes and trade barriers. India, China, everyone. Europe, by the way, all over Europe. Under the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, if India, as an example, or China, Europe, any place, Any country charges
China?
us, let's say, 100% or 200%. That's what they do. You could ask Harley Davidson. You could ask a lot of companies that are unable to put their product into these countries because what they do, they make it impossible. We immediately charge them the exact same thing. It's called reciprocal. Reciprocal.
Wow.
Reciprocal.
Trump just learned that word today, sounds like.
So if India charges our companies 100, we charge their companies 100. It's very simple. And yet we have people in Congress that say, no, I don't think that's good. Anybody that says that's no good, very interesting. Lindsey Graham, the progressive from South Carolina. No, he's a progressive, but he's got some good things too, okay? But Lindsey Graham, I said to him, Lindsey, you got to go along with this. We were all set to get it done. You got to go along with this. He says, so let me get this straight. If they charge us, we charge them the same thing. He said it's not his strength. Other things are his strength. He said, so they charge us, we charge them, same thing, right? Yeah, you got my vote. That's so easy. But, you know, you have guys in there that I guess campaign contributions are much worse than that. Maybe campaign contributions that aren't recorded. But can you imagine? But we were close to getting that done, and then the election was rigged. But we would have had that done.
There it is.
And done very, very quickly. One of two things will happen. They will get rid of the tariffs on us. They'll most likely get rid of them if you start doing this, because we have countries that it's so imbalanced, so unfair. The deficits are massive. As an example, with China, $600 billion we lose every year. I got it down, way down. And then we had little surprise on an election, and they're way up now. They're doing better than they've ever done. But they'll leave them. The United States will make a fortune on this. The United States will make an absolute fortune, get rid of your deficits, and other countries won't go around saying we're stupid people, because that's what they say right now. We're stupid people to allow this to happen, where they charge us and we don't charge them. Cars, as an example, in China, you make a car in America, send it to China, you have to pay a fortune to get it in. You have like 9 different tax structures. They can make cars and send them into us. We did put some taxes on, though, I will tell you that. I was ready to get all of this passed, and we had great support when we got hit with the election, and we got hit with the COVID, and we got hit with everything you could get hit with, and then we rebuilt it, and we had the stock market actually higher than it was just prior to COVID. When you think of it, pretty amazing.
As far as the great speeches of American history go, I don't know that this one's going to make the list.
They give Biden credit. He doesn't know he's alive. I mean, jeez. Under the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, companies, factories, and jobs will come roaring back into our country, and massive deficits that we've been paying for decades and decades, it's going to disappear. The deficits will disappear almost overnight. I will also revoke China's most favored nation trade status. Do you believe it? They were given a most favored nation because they say they're a growing nation. Well, we're a growing nation also, okay? If they're a growing nation, then we're a growing nation. I will gain total independence from China economically. I'll hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for unleashing the China virus upon the world. And nobody can pay the cost of what that costs. The lives, number one, the lives all over, the millions and millions of lives. But you're talking about $50 to $60 trillion. China doesn't have it. Nobody has that. But something will happen. There's going to be something happening. Just like I got $28 billion for the farmers, something's going to happen, because what took place there is disgraceful. And it did come from the Wuhan labs, as I said, from day one. Biden is proposing a $4.7 trillion tax hike. Congratulations. I, on the other hand, will deliver tax cuts, energy price cuts, and interest rates cuts, the likes of which you have never seen before.
How will he deliver interest rate cuts? How? Exactly how?
And the economy is doing terribly. Unlike Ron DeSantis, the Bushes, the Ryans, the Roves, Karl Rove, he's another beauty, the Rhinos, and the Democrats, I will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy and immediately begin the process of expediting construction of new natural gas pipelines to New England.
Give me
Again,
a break.
you pay the highest prices in the country. You know,
He's not going to do that. He is not going to start constructing new natural gas pipelines to New England.
Through New York State, where they could really use the jobs, really use the jobs, into New England. You know where you get a lot of your energy from? Is Russia. They have Russian ships out there. For years, they've had Russian ships. And if they did a pipeline going through a place in New York State that needs it so badly, they need the jobs, this would be a positive. And you don't see it. It's underground, and the environmentalists and the governors. And once you get that done, I'll tell you, and I will do it. We'll do whatever you have to do. I'll get it done.
He'll do none of it.
It's a simple pipeline. New York has fought it off for years. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Your prices will drop in half and much more than that. You're paying so much higher than anybody else. That's the reason. But we love New York other than that, right? Okay, other than that. But no, they have to do that. They have to do that. We're all part of a team. And if you want to buy a car powered by an internal combustion engine or a hybrid, or if you want to buy an electric car, some people like an electric car, like what, 4% of the people? You'll be able to do it.
What on earth is there not to like about electric cars? It's a really weird scapegoat. I can't see ever going back to a gas-powered vehicle. Why? Why would I?
Imagine them saying you can only buy electric cars when they don't go far enough, they don't drive long enough, when some people don't like them, and when the batteries are all made 100% in China or in areas that China controls. Who is coming up when we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country, including Saudi Arabia and Russia? But we're not allowed to use it. The electric car takes so much energy to create the battery that they won't break even environmentally, if you're a believer in that. The making of the battery throws off more, let's call it dirt into the air, into the air, than...
Now, of course, there is a question as to the carbon footprint of the battery creation, but that is going to only improve over time. The longer you drive the car, the more that's mitigated. And of course, it will continue improving and improving and improving as the efficiency improves.
Opposition research. This is really incredible.
A lot of dirt.
When you look at it, you know, I started saying about a month ago, I realized how crazy the borders, ridiculous. We don't want to open borders. April Fools, right? Remember, he says, it's like everything's April Fool's Day. All electric cars, April Fool's Day. I don't mind electric cars. You should have everything. Some people might like electric. Some people might like something else. Some people might like a motor scooter. Let them get whatever the hell they want. But to force them, when we don't have enough electricity for ourselves, you go out to California, they want all electric cars, and yet they have brownouts during the summer and blackouts. The whole state goes out, and then they say, oh, let's hook up another couple of million.
Anybody know the difference between a brownout and a blackout?
It's crazy. And that's why I say April Fools. Everything, they don't want voter ID. How simple is voter ID? We don't want voter ID. Why don't they want voter ID? Because they want to cheat. That's all. Our opponents know that no one can match us on the economy. And that's the reason that we're way up in the polls. We have polls. I'm going to show you a couple of them.
Oh, no.
So today, a very respected poll came out. Emerson, big poll. It has Trump.
Huge flagpole.
Obama. Thank you. Thank you. People were starting to come. Thank you very much. And I love you too. That's why I'm doing this. I had a nice life. I didn't have to go before grand juries every time I fly over a state. If I fly over a state that happens to be Democrat run, they send me a subpoena to go before a grand jury. These people are sick. They're weaponizing that stuff. But, you know, these polls are amazing. So today's very important and big Emerson poll came out. So it has Trump at 62%, DeSantis at 60%, Mike Pence at 7%. Obviously, people are dreaming of energy independence, a strong military like you had, and borders and low taxes that are strong. We want strong borders. We want low taxes. We want low interest rates. We want to be respected throughout the world, not laughed at. We're laughed at. You know, I said in a speech recently, somebody said, what do you think about Xi? I said, he's a very powerful, strong man. He's at the top of his game. The fake news media said, how dare they say that? I said, what am I going to say? He controls 1.5 billion people. No, he's not at the top of his game. The same thing with other leaders. They're sharp. They're smart. They're at the top of their game. We're the only one that has one that's not. And he's not close. And he never really had a top of the game if you go back 25 years. In this week's big morning console poll, that's another big one, Trump is leading by 37 points, and last week's...
This really is like 2016 when Trump would go out at rallies and just read polls. He's recreating 2016 all over again.
Steve, just keep working, because under the Clarity campaign poll, a big one, I lead by 45 points at 65, with DeSantis being at 20%, Pence at 4%, Nikki Haley at 4%, and sloppy Chris Christie at less than 1%. Which, by the way, is substantially better than he did 7 years ago on the same stage against me right here in New Hampshire. Remember, he was less than 1%, so now he's still less than 1%. But he's doing much better, you know? Got a big mouth, that's all he's got. In Massachusetts, your neighbor, 70% for Trump. And in the Florida Voice poll, this is Florida we're talking about, 80% for Trump, 80.
What's a Florida Voice poll?
In a great place, South Carolina, we have a 22-point lead. In the victory poll of Iowa, it's Trump 54, DeSantis.
You understand, these are just primary polls. It's like, we know Trump's leading the... If a former president can't win his own primary, something's wrong. The question is, what are the general election polls looking like?
I just saw that. That's pretty good. You're doing a good job, Steve. You're doing a good job. We're at 51% with all these people running, all these people. 51, we're up 33 points, but we will not play prevent defense. You ever see the NFL? They hold a team scoreless for almost 4 quarters. They just have to do it one more time, one more series, and they say, we're going to go prevent. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. We don't play prevent defense. It prevents you from winning.
Right.
Prevent defense prevents you from winning. That's the worst defense.
Should really do a sports commentary.
Team, and they go prevent, say, bet on the opponent. And then they want to do something on the debates. Think of this. They want to debate. They want to have, I have people at 1/2 of 1%, 1/4 of 1%, 1%, 3%, 2%, 4%, 7%. And DeSantis is very low and crashing. He's crashing and burning. Don't forget, when he came to me, he was at 3%. So he failed in his campaign. Then I endorsed him, which I could have done without, but I endorsed him and he went up a lot. But he went up and he won. But
what Trump doesn't mention in this story is that DeSantis went up months after the endorsement.
Getting a chance to campaign without Trump, to put it mildly. To put it mildly. But so these debates, you know, Nixon and Reagan and Bush #1, others. No, they didn't debate in the primaries. They didn't debate. I mean, seriously, you look at the boards and you see these things, 1%, 1%, 2%, 1%, 3%. And you look at it, these...
Isn't he talking about when those other folks were incumbents? Trump's not an incumbent anymore. It's an open primary. It's a totally different situation.
Running your country. But I do look forward to the debate with Joe. No, corrupt. With Crooked Joe. No, I look forward to that. Remember last time I said, where and why did you accept $3.5 million? Remember that? why did you accept, on the debate stage, I had that guy, Chris Wallace. How's he doing? How's his career going? Not too good. He always wanted to be his father, Mike, but
it's all grievances all the way down.
It's called lack of talent. But think of this. Think of this. Remember on the debate stage? I said to Biden, I said, why did you accept $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? And Chris Wallace, he didn't know how to answer the question. Chris Wallace said, you shouldn't be asking that question. I said, has a lot to do. Why did he get $3.5 million from Moscow? He didn't do anything for it. And Chris Wallace stopped him from giving an answer, which he didn't have, by the way. Saved him. They want me to go to the Reagan Library, as an example, which is, nobody knew this until I brought it up yesterday, which is run by a guy named Fred Ryan. He is the chairman and CEO of the Washington Post. Can you believe it? This could only happen. The Washington Post, the enemy of the people, the Washington Post, think of this, is running the Reagan Library. I think Ronald Reagan would be spinning in his grave, okay? But you say, how did that happen? But they want me to go. And sadly, your governor, Sununu, doesn't register.
Really a Gish Gallop.
No, sort of a nasty, isn't he a nasty guy?
All over the map.
You know, it's funny, his father was very, very tough. But when I won, he became one of my best supporters. He really was. He really was great. But he was really tough. This guy doesn't have the same qualities. But you know what? You think of it. He could have run. He could have had a Senate seat. Would have helped so much. You know, he's playing games. But Sununu, if you take a look at what he's done, it's crazy. We're leading him, I guess, 58% to 7 in your state. You saw the poll. 58 to 7.
What?
And now if he ran for the Senate, he probably couldn't win even, you know, if you put him back in that same position. But he could have really made an impact. He could have run for the Senate, would have probably easily won because of the family name, would have won. And that would have been a tremendous thing. Instead, he wants to play games with running for president where he's registered at less than 1%. I don't think he's going to make it. If he made it, it would be the biggest upset in the history of politics. Any country. We'll include every single country all over the world. And he should stop being a nasty guy and telling people that I won't win in the general election, which I will. Remember? Speaking of which, we're leading Biden by 7 points in Rasmussen poll.
Rasmussen's worthless. Look at actual polls.
Harvard poll, Harvard-Harris. And by 11 points in another poll. And by the way...
one I won't name.
The same people that said the same thing in 2016, well, maybe he'll win here, but he's not going to win in the general election. They love that. That's the only narrative they have left. But we're winning against everybody, and we're doing just as well in the general election.
So just to interject some truth, now, of course, this can change. Of course it can change. But look at this A- rated Emerson College poll, which Trump just touted as one of the best polls. It has Biden leading Trump and Biden leading DeSantis. By Trump's own statement 5 minutes ago, that's a good poll.
These are incredible people. I don't even care if you help me campaign. You don't have to help me. What I want you to do is help me on election evening, which is no longer election evening. It's election period. Because these people have like a month and 2 months to look around and play around with the votes. How people let this happen. We got to go to all paper ballots, voter ID, same day voting, 1 day.
There you go. The people clapping widely use other methods for voting.
Guys, the votes aren't final until 2 weeks after the election. You say, how do you tabulate the result? What do everybody wait? The nation waits? It's a disgrace what's happened. And I asked the people on stage, and we have a lot of people in the audience that are great politicians and very important for your state, I don't want help. I don't even want help with the vote. I just want help on making sure the vote is cast and counted fairly. You know, Lenin. Did anyone ever hear of Lenin?
Vladimir
he said,
Lenin.
The vote counter is far more important than the candidate. Has anyone ever heard that's Lenin? Lenin, as they say in Russia. But no, the vote
boy.
counter is far more important. It's very sad. We did so unbelievable. We got more votes than any sitting president by far. We got millions of more votes than Barack Hussein Obama.
He lost the popular vote by 8 million.
We got the same number we can't lose. We got millions more, millions and millions more. And, well, we thought we won until about 10:15 in the evening. Then all of a sudden we said, what's going on here? Now we got to straighten out our borders. We got to straighten out our elections, because we're like a third world country. These incredible poll numbers are one of the main reasons that the Marxist left is coming after us, using the criminal justice system for massive election interference.
Is there a Marxist left? I still haven't met any of the Marxists.
With our elections through the use of the DOJ and the FBI, attorney generals and local district attorneys who actually, you know, the district attorney we have in New York, he's reporting into Washington. They sent one of the top guys from Washington to help him run his office. That's beautiful. Isn't it a wonderful life? But in the end, they're not coming after me. They're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. I'm just standing. I will always stand in their way. But we can't let that happen, because that's going to a lower level even than what happened in 2020. That's going, in my opinion, to a lower level that even happened in 2020. And they're working on it. I got more DAs and local people nobody ever heard of. We want the president in to testify. On what? I have nothing to do with it. Well, we want him in anyway to testify. Maybe he'll make a mistake. Maybe he'll do something. It's a disgrace. What's happening with our country is a disgrace, and it's a laughingstock all over the world. As the endless witch hunts and persecutions reveal, our enemies are desperate to stop us because they know we are the only ones who can stop them. They know that. There's never been a movement like this. By the way,
thank God.
In the history of our country, there's never been a movement like MAGA, Make America Great Again.
Thank God for that.
We've never had a movement. And with all of the, I'm looking, it's a lot of fake news. With all of the news back there, nobody's ever questioned it. You know, if I say something and I'm like slightly off, they say, oh, he made a mistake, he this, that, you know, these people. I've never been challenged. I say it all the time. Are you hearing me? There's never been a movement in history, like MAGA, Make America Great Again. But unlike other politicians, the harder our enemies hit me, the stronger and more determined we are. And that's as a party and as a movement itself. They hit me and we're all together. I'm with you, you're with me. And the harder they hit, the better we do. You saw that a couple of weeks ago with these fakers. In recent months, I've been laying out a bold, forward-looking vision for what we will do when we become the 47th president of the United States.
We will become the 47th president. Those sound like some weird pronouns, guys.
Before I even arrive at the...
That's we singular.
After I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It would have never happened. That war would have... I spoke to Putin about it. There was no chance that he would have gone in with me as president. And there was no chance that President Xi of China would have gone into Taiwan. I was the only president in decades who didn't start a war. You know that. Everyone said, oh, he's going to start a war because they said I had that personality to start a war. They remember that? Oh, we can't vote for him. He's going to start a war. No, I used my personality that we didn't have to have wars. And I got out of wars, including knocking the hell out of ISIS. Took over 100% of the ISIS caliphate. 100%. I took over 99% of the ISIS caliphate. I said, all right, we're going home. Let's get our great soldiers. We're bringing them home. And the media started saying, well, why not 100? I said, you know what? We better finish it off because they'll say I left early and we knocked the hell out of them. That was the end of that. We took over 100%. We came home. But now I understand they're rebuilding again because they have no respect for our country. Standing before you today, I am the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent World War III. I promise. It's not going to be a war.
Right. Super believable.
And very sadly, there's never been talk like what you're hearing now, because this guy doesn't have a clue how to speak. He's too tough when he should be soft. He's too soft when he should be tough. He says things that are so bad, provokes, and then shows weakness. It's the craziest thing. He says just the opposite of what you have to say. I know Putin very well. I know Xi very well. I know Kim Jong-un. If I didn't take over from Obama, if he had another year, you would have had a nuclear war with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. You would have had a nuclear war. Then when I got along with him, everyone hated. The fake news hated that I got along. He gets along. Isn't it a good thing to get along with a guy with 5,000 nuclear weapons? That's okay. But I did get along with him. I got along with a lot of people that people are surprised, really surprised. That's why we had no wars, and they would have never gone in. And it's so all those people dead in Ukraine, far more than you think, far more than they report. These phony numbers where a city is blown up, buildings all crushed to the ground, there's nothing standing, and they say nobody was killed, 2 people were hurt. Hundreds of people, thousands of people were killed. These numbers are far greater and far worse than you hear. When I get back into the Oval Office, we will totally obliterate the deep state.
Oh,
we will
no. Look at the cheers for that. It's like, dude, what are you talking about?
establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. By the way, they spied on my campaign.
They did not.
Imagine if let's take Barack Hussein Obama. Let's say we spied on his campaign, you got caught. What do you think would happen? You think it would just be some stories in only a few newspapers, because most of them don't even want to write it. They would have brought back the electric chair. That's what they would have done. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Unequal justice. And I will require every federal employee to pass a new civil service test. How about the president? Let's start with the president. Demonstrating an understanding of our Constitution. To stop the local Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting conservatives. On day one of my new administration, I will direct the DOJ to investigate every radical district attorney and attorney general in America for their illegal, racist, in reverse enforcement of the law.
No, you won't.
I will quickly restore the most secure border in U.S. history, just as we had 3 years ago. We had the strongest, most powerful, most secure border in the history of our country. 3 years ago, we had the most secure. We built hundreds of miles of wall. It worked, by the way. Then we were going to do 200 more miles of wall in certain areas where we could see it was a little weaker than we wanted it. We started that. Could have been finished in 3 weeks if he did it. We had the stuff ordered. He took it away and hid it so that Texas and Arizona couldn't use it. And that's what I said. I guess they really do want open borders, and they actually want open borders, and nobody understands.
This story is a complete lie. I've debunked it in detail on my YouTube channel.
Why do they want that? Why do you want people from prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums? That's a step above. That's Silence of the Lamb type, okay? Why do we want these people in our country? Why are we allowing them? And, you know, you have to see these other countries. They are, I mean, they've never had it so good. Their prisons are emptied out into the U.S. They have no more costs. They don't want to take care of these people for 70 years, which is what you could have. I mean, they have this MS-13. You saw what happened yesterday with this killer, this thug. He was an MS-13. The level of violence, they called it demonic. The level of violence is incredible. We have become a dumping ground for the entire world. The money they save, no prisons, no mental institutions.
Dumps.
There was a story recently about
And what big massive dumps.
Or psychiatrist, but a psychologist who worked in mental wards in South America.
Wards.
And he said, I worked a good man, he worked 24 hours a day taking care of very mentally ill people. And he was sitting there reading a newspaper, and they asked him, what's he doing? He said, I have no more work. The people have all been let go into the United States. Can you believe this is what we're doing?
That's one of the dumbest stories that he tells.
This is what we're doing. And this you pay for. I mean, sure, we can get a lot of them out, but This is what we're paying for. And the crime, you have not seen anything. Wait till you see this. But he said they've let him go in the United States. But this is not true with the 3 or 4 countries that we think of. Honduras and Mexico, El Salvador. This isn't just that little area. This is all over the world they're letting them in. From all over the world. They're coming in. They're coming through the southern border. And we had it stopped up. One of the very first bills I signed will be for a massive increase in Border Patrol and colossal increase in the number of ICE deportation officers. We're going to follow the Eisenhower model. People don't realize it with Eisenhower. He was very tough on illegal immigration. A lot of people don't realize that. He was really tough on illegal immigration. We will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. And they'll take them back, too. You know that story. They weren't taking them back, and I said, good, if they don't take it, they weren't taking them back for decades. And the generals came up to, sure, they won't take them back, sir.
Sir?
And I said, well, do we give them any money, like any kind of subsidies or anything? Yes, sir, I'd like to find out. So it comes back $750 million. Yes, 750. So I said, listen, the 3 countries. I said, no more money for them starting this afternoon at 5 o'clock. The next morning, I got 3 calls from 3 presidents of 3 countries. Nice people. They're smart. I don't hold it against them. They got away with it for years. They'd put airplanes on the runways when we're flying in with prisoners or MS-13 people that are you don't want in this country, believe me. These are vicious, the most violent gang in the world, probably. Almost definitely. And they'd put airplanes so you couldn't land the plane. So I said, how much? 750. I said, here's what we're doing. Immediately, you're going to stop payment of all money going to these countries. You're going to stop payment now. Next day, I get 3 calls. The presidents of those countries, separate calls, totally. Sir, I understand there's a misunderstanding. Yeah. We want your MS-13 killers that you sent over here. We want them back. And we want everybody to go back to your country. We want them. We're going to bring them back. Sir, we'd be honored to take MS-13 back. We think they're lovely people.
Sir,
what seems to be the problem?
Sir,
No, we would love to take them back. Immediately opened up. Nobody has seen that for 25 years. It took me one night. We would be honored. It would be a great honor to bring back MS-13 so they can kill our people instead of yours. No, it's terrible. The people that run our country are stupid people. I will ask every state.
I'd really like him to wind this down because I'm very eager to hear the questions people are going to ask.
By the way, our police are incredible. Our firemen are incredible. Our police are incredible. And you know what? They know the bad ones. They're in the cities. These Democrat-run cities are going to hell. The whole world is watching. But these police are incredible. They know the bad ones, but they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to lose their wife or their husband. They don't want to lose their home. So they're told to stand back, but they know every bad one. They know everything about it. But I'll ask every state and federal agency to identify every known or suspected gang member in America, and every one of them that is here illegally. The police know every one of them. And we'll pick them up and we'll send them back home where they came from. They'll be out of here.
Wow. Really embarrassing.
And I will restore my travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country.
The travel ban.
You saw what happened. 4 years. 4 years we went. 4 years. You saw that, right? We were very tough on that. We don't want our buildings blown up. We don't want to have problems. The Biden border crisis is also a drug and fentanyl crisis and a human trafficking crisis like never before, mostly with women, very sadly, mostly with women. And it's now the number is 12 times what it was 3 years ago, 12 times. We had it really down. We were so tough on that, what they do with women and to women. Under my administration, we reduced drug overdose deaths in New Hampshire by 18%. 18. We had it 15, then we had it 18. And our First Lady worked very hard on that, I will tell you.
Muted clapping for 18%. People not exactly blown out of the water by that.
And instead of being down under Biden, as you know, and your police and firemen do an incredible job, you have a real big drug problem in New Hampshire, incredible, almost worse than anybody, relatively speaking. That's what the governor should focus on, not running for president where he's at less than 1%. That's what he should focus on. But you have a real problem here, and I have to tell you, your police and your firemen, I spent time with them, and they took me around one day, and the job they do on saving people, a lot of the job they do is saving people that have overdosed. It's incredible. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's time that America is going to wage war. That's what we're going to do. We're going to wage war on the cartels. We're being invaded. Our country is being invaded and destroyed.
For those wondering, Donald Trump's been speaking just over 1 hour. Sometimes these speeches go as long as an hour and 40 minutes. We will see.
I was told you couldn't do it it would take 3 to 4 years to do it, and sir, I don't think we could do it at all. I did it in 3 weeks. I knocked him out in 3 weeks. We have great generals. I want not the guys on television that leave Afghanistan before they take out our equipment and our American citizens, where we lost 13 great people. And nobody ever says this, where many soldiers were just obliterated. Their arms, their legs, their face obliterated because of people that didn't know how to do their job. And why aren't these people fired? Why aren't they fired? And I will ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug dealers, drug kingpins, and human traffickers receive the death penalty, because it's the only way you're going to stop it.
Here we go. Vicious crowd, huh?
And I had a great time, and it was amazing, amazing culture, frankly. And I was with President Xi. 1.4 to 1.5 billion people. I said, you have a drug problem? No.
Here we go.
No drug problem. I said, you mean with all these people,
China?
you don't have a drug problem? No drug problem.
China.
Well, what do you ascribe the
China
reason
all
to,
the
may
time.
I ask? I think I knew. He said, swift trial. You know, there's no games with it. These people, you know, when you meet with President Xi, he doesn't say, gee, how'd the Yankees do last night? Oh, we have a lovely day. Lovely day. Isn't it beautiful out? Oh, it's so beautiful, Donald. It's so great. He goes, we will immediately proceed to work. And you know what? I love that. I think that's great. There's no bullshit. Okay? I think that's great. We will proceed. You meet him for 2 minutes. We will proceed. There's no games. Yeah, how did the Boston Red Sox do today? No, they don't talk about that stuff. They talk about other things.
I mean, why the Chinese would care about American baseball in general is kind of a question, I guess.
Tried the person, and if they're a drug dealer, if they're selling drugs, unfortunately, they have the death penalty. And I don't think this country's ready for it. But they have no drug problem whatsoever. The big drug problem they have is they make drugs and send them into our country, like fentanyl. And even that, I had him set, except for this rigged election, he was set to make that a criminal, an absolute crime, with a death penalty for anybody making fentanyl. But once I left, once this horrible election took place, they send more over now than ever before. He was going to give the death penalty. That was his deal with me. He was going to give the death penalty to anybody that produced fentanyl. Can you believe that in China? It's too bad. All these people are dying all over. We're being invaded. It's like a human invasion. To combat the scourge of homelessness that is plaguing Democrat-run cities such as Manchester, I will use every possible authority to get the homeless off the streets immediately. It's so bad. It's so sad. And, you know, you have great hearts, especially the people of New Hampshire. And, you know, you don't want to even talk about it. You don't want to say, gee, there's 15 people laying in front of my building. You know, you feel badly about it. But you got to do something. For a small fraction of what we spend in Ukraine, we could take every single homeless veteran in America and take care of them. Likewise, with all the money we will save by ending mass unskilled migration. That's what it is, mass unskilled. You see where in California now they're giving them medical care, education. They're getting treated better than our veterans are treated. And, you know, when they see that, they all come.
Is Trump admitting that Republicans don't really support the troops?
I believe in California, free, and other places, free medical, education. The classrooms, you have people that can't even speak English, and they're sitting all over the classroom. It's killing our country. But we will have a huge dividend to address the homeless crisis in our own country. We're going to save a tremendous amount of money. We're going to take care of them. We will get the homeless into tent cities, shelters, rehab, and mental institutions, and we'll get them off the streets of our cities. And living like that is no good for them, the homeless, and it's no good for the people that have to make our cities great again. You can't make your cities great when you have thousands of people laying all over the streets. To uphold our Second Amendment, I will ask Congress to put a bill on my desk delivering national concealed carry reciprocity.
Give me a break.
And I will immediately restore free speech in America. We've lost our free speech.
Nobody's got its speech anymore.
And we've lost our press. We've lost our media. It's so sad what happens to them. They don't report. It's not even what they report. They don't report. They didn't report the Biden stuff. They knew about it. They had the 51 intelligence agents. You saw that? Where they said, yeah, it's Russian disinformation. We don't have to report it. These are corrupt people. This is this. And everybody knew that wasn't true. And we will take care of our amazing veterans. And we did it, you know, for 4 years. We had a 92% rating at the VA, at the vet. 92%. We did a great job. The highest rating by far that they've ever had. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity.
Will he do the teach transgender line?
Inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. I will also support parents' rights. Can you believe I have to say that? Can you believe I'm saying I will support parents' rights? Can you imagine 15 years ago saying, I will support parents' rights? So people would look at you and say, this guy's crazy. Parents' rights, of course. Who wouldn't support that?
We still
there
see
are
that.
people that
Trump's
don't want
still
the parents to have any rights, including the direct election of school principals by the parents, so you can get people that you want.
Terrible.
If any principal is not getting the job done, the parents should be able to vote and fire him, get him out, get somebody that will get it done. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate.
People really like that. That's the applause line of the night. Standing ovation. Wow.
Crazy.
Looks like poorly timed, conflicting chants of 4 more years in USA. Crowd very confused.
Governors would run their states, and generally they did those mandates, and they were disasters. And a lot of them, they really did it right. Republican governors, when you look at what happened. And I will tell you another thing that people can't even believe. I will keep men out of women's sports. Okay?
Whoa.
And we will ban men.
That's a big issue. That'll really improve everybody's lives.
No, did you ever hear of anything like that? You saw the other day the weightlifter and this young woman, 19-year record. Well, I don't know what it is, 200 and some odd pounds. It's a lot. It's a lot for a man or for a woman to lift, but it's a lot. And this record stood woman's record for years, 19 years or something. And she got over the barbell. They put like a little tiny ounce on one side, ounce on the other. This thing was, if you beat it by an ounce, you have the world record. And she got up there and, should I do it? I'm gonna do it. She couldn't do it. Then a guy came along, who happens to be a woman now, according to the laws of our country. And he looked at it. They said, have you lifted before? Not really. Let's take a look. He looks at it, goes, He has the record by like 90 pounds or something like. It is so stupid. It is so unfair. The swimmer you know about, right? The swimmer. She's a great swimmer. Great swimmer. She's going for the world record. She looked up and down. She sees young ladies that she grew up with. They're all great swimmers. They've been from the time they were born, frankly, because that's the way it is. They were good from the time they were born. Jack Nicklaus was a great golfer from the first day he picked up a club. That's the way it goes, right? You know, they were great. She looked up. She sees her friend. She looks down. Then she looked to her right, and there's this huge person. Looked like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt the Stilt. He was 7'1". Now looked like Wilt with a wingspan. He was built like this. She was built, I'm sorry, like this. Most perfect body. I wish I had a body like that. I would have been president 20 years ago if I had
This is considered
body. It comes
funny
down
to
like
this
this.
crowd.
And she looks, she says, wow, oh, whoa, this is, I wonder how she swims. And you know the young lady was very seriously injured. You know that, right? Windburn! Because he went by her so fast. The wind was so great. She got a bad windburn, but she'll be okay. Now, do you think, does anybody really believe what's going on in this country?
No.
I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states.
These people are nuts. Really nuts.
And this is what we must do to save our country from destruction. 2024 is the final battle. If we don't take it over, we're not going to have a country anymore.
That's it.
I want to be positive. I'm just telling you, we're not going to, if we allow them to cheat, because it's the only way they're going to win the election. If we allow them to cheat again, you're not going to have a country. If you put me back in the White House, the reign of corrupt Washington establishment will be over, and America will be a...
This speech is scoring A++ with incels.
In this election, we are going to complete the mission. We are going to finish what we started. We did so much. We rebuilt our military so much, but we have things to finish. Stand with me, and together we will defeat the globalists, the Marxists, communists, and the rhinos, and we will also defeat the fake news media because they're in on the act. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House. And we will restore the American Republic as the strongest, freest, and most powerful nation the world has ever known. We're going to get ourselves back there, and we're going to get it fast. They know me very well. They're not looking forward to having this happen, but they'll live with it. Actually, we got along with them pretty well. There were certain assets also. You know, other countries need a strong America, not just us. Other countries need a strong America. The USA is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. Our banks are failing. Russia has joined with China. Saudi Arabia has joined with Iran. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Our currency is collapsing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard. Can you believe this? And that will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years if we lose the dollar. There's a really good chance that we will. But it won't happen with me, not even a small chance. Just like Russia would never have invaded Ukraine.
For those just joining us, or maybe who joined an hour ago in the middle of Trump's speech, he said he would be taking audience questions at the end of the speech. The speech seems to be winding down. I am interested. One of the funniest things is he just never answers the questions.
Them up. They would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. But now I say, if you took the 10 worst presidents, because I really believe that, if you took the 10 worst presidents and added them up, they would not have done to our nation what this man and what this administration has done. And by the way, they're going to, after this speech, they're going to be coming after me big time. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. That's what's happening. I hate to say it. It makes you sick to say it. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. And we can't let that happen. With all of this being said, And with a very, very dark cloud hanging over our country, I have no doubt that we will together win the presidential election of 2024 and make America great again. We're going to do it. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. God bless you. God bless you. And now God bless me, because I'm going to take a couple of questions, okay? Where are we going to go with the questions? Do we have a mic at some point? Do we have a little mic? Oh, go ahead, please. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gerard. Thank you for the shout out early. I appreciate that. One of the issues we are super passionate about at the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women is women's sports and keeping biological men out of women's sports and out of women's bathrooms.
Right.
We recently released a statement calling out Chris Pappas and Ian Huster for voting against the Protection of Women's and Girls Sports Act. So how do we ensure that women can compete on an even playing field and feel safe when it comes to this issue?
Vote for Trump. That's how you do it. Okay? You're going to have no problem.
Imagine getting a chance to ask a presidential candidate, former president, a question, and that's the stupid question you ask.
It's a good statement and or question, but... and we will ban men. What's going on with that subject? No, you vote for Trump. That's going to be totally gone. Okay? Go ahead,
Great
please.
answer.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Frank Dawson, and thank you for the phone call 3 years ago.
I remember that, yeah.
Thank you very much. You are the man.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you a question concerning the military.
Okay.
Do you promise the veterans out there, guarantee them that you will make our military stronger as it was before you were
Yes, I do.
pushed out of office, and you will return? And also make a promise to all law enforcement, all legitimate law enforcement, that you will protect and support them all the way.
Laurel enforcement.
So I remember
love
the
that.
call. I don't know why, but I have a good memory. But I remember the call very much. And I appreciate the love with that statement, not just a statement. The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
We rebuilt our military. We have the finest equipment in the world. You know, we had jets that were 48 years old where the grandfather was flying them. Some of the bombers, the grandfather was flying them, and now the grandson is flying them. No, we're redoing our military. We redid a lot. As you remember, I made Space Force, and they tried to end it as soon as they came into office, and they had a revolt in the military. We created Space Force. That's the first time in 78 years since the Air Force that something like that's been done, creating a new branch. So the answer is yes, 100%. You will be satisfied. Not only that, the veterans are very satisfied, 92%. But now, in other words, we had an approval rating, the VA, of 92%. That's never happened before. That's a real job. You know, we got approved.
Sir, do you promise to make America great again if you win? Yes, I do.
We did. You couldn't fire because of lots of reasons. I won't blame civil service. I won't blame unions. I won't blame anyone. You couldn't fire them. And we got that done. And we also got it done where you can go out and get your own doctor, and we pay, because some of the veterans, as you know, were online for weeks and months. Some of them became terminally ill, waiting to get just a very simple procedure or prescription. They'd have to wait 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And we made it, you understand this, those two things were very important. The ability, we fired, I think, 12,000 people. They were sadists.
There you go.
They wouldn't attack these people in prime time, I can tell you. But they were sadists, they were thieves, they had some very bad people. We got rid of them. We actually had that passed in the legislature. They've been trying to do it for 48 years. And then on the other, as you know, that was a big deal. If you have to wait online for any more than 24 hours, you have the right to go out and get a doctor, get yourself taken care of, and we pay the bill. And that worked out unbelievably well. You know that's true. That's why they like us. But the answer is yes, we'll take care of it. Okay?
Wow.
Thank you. Good to see you. Okay, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Christine Peters, also from the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women.
Good.
And two of the top 3 issues that women are concerned about right now are inflation and the economy. And how do things like the environmental social governance play into
all of the economic issues that are facing women?
Well, they do. And, you have these fanatics, the environmental fanatics.
Trump can't answer that question.
You want clean water. We want clean air. Nobody wants dirty air and water and other things. So, but you have to be reasonable. These people are crazy. They're putting windmills all over the place. They're going all over windmills. The birds are. You want to see a bird cemetery? Go under a windmill sometime. Cancer. And they're made in China, just so you know, and causing a lot of problems. Very expensive. But I will say this: we will take care of this inflation by going and drilling. You know the sign in they have Con Edison in New York, utility. They used to have a sign: dig we must, drill we must. We must drill. And we did some job. We had it down to below $1.87 for a period of time, gasoline. And what a difference that made. When they came in, they closed everything down. They got rid of Anwar. Anwar, since Ronald Reagan, they've been trying to. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Bush couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. I got it done. The biggest site probably in the world, drilling in Alaska. They ended it the first day of the Biden administration. I mean, you think about it. They ended it the first day of the Biden administration, a site that would have been almost the size of Saudi Arabia, maybe bigger, and they ended it. But we'll do it again. We can do it again. We'll get it done again. When you reduce the price of energy, everything else is going to come down. And when everything else comes down, what we'll be able to do is get the interest rates down, and we're going to get our country back. Because our country, the way it's going right now, is going into a depression. We're going into a depression, like a 1929 type depression, and we're not going to let that.
There's no evidence we're going into that.
We're going to get energy down, everything else. When they held it back, the energy became so oppressive, so expensive, that everything went up, and you had inflation at a level that you hadn't seen in 52 years, and it's still horrible. But we're going to bring energy down, way down. We're going to get the interest rates down. We're going to get back to a great life. We're going to strengthen up our military. And we're going to be able to deal with China and Russia and everybody. And they're not going to play with us. They're not going to play with us. Thank you. Okay? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
Is it on? Okay. God bless you, President
Thank you
Trump.
very much. God bless you.
My name's Christine. I'm from Atkinson, New Hampshire, and engaging with young voters is crucial. Here in New Hampshire, we have American First warriors like Caroline Levitt. How do you plan to engage with Gen Z voters?
Well, I think we're doing that, and I tell you what, you would be shocked, like Charlie Kirk and others, the job that they do with their youth. It's a youth movement. It really is. That's another movement. You would be shocked to see how popular we are on college campuses. Much different than what you read, much different than what you hear. But, one of the things about having this horrible thing take place where 4 years of, we've lived in 4 years of hell in this country in many ways, more ways than you even know. But one of the things is they have shown how bad they are. And we'll be able to do things now to get it straightened out. We have to make our cities safe again. We have to clean up our areas. We have to get things going in this country again. They've shown how bad things are. The voting is so dishonest. People see it. People see it. All you have to do is just have a little common sense, and you see the level of dishonesty, because we want strong borders. We want great elections. We want strong elections. We want great education. And all of the things that have happened in the last 4 years have shown how bad these policies are. And it's actually, in a certain way, going to make it much easier for us. Okay, one or two more. Go ahead. Do you have anybody over there?
Yes, no's, please.
Mike, let's go over here.
Hi, my name's Tony. I'm
Hi, Tony.
here from the Cape, all the way from Cape Cod.
Nice place.
Very nice. I just have a question on election integrity. So we're all here for...
Or lack of integrity.
Thank you. That was going to be my next question. How are we going to take back 2020? I know we got 2024, but we need to still work on what happened with 2020. How are we
No,
going
we don't.
to make America...
What happened is he lost. How are we going to get 2020? Oh, my God. These people are insane.
We can do right now, and there are a lot of people going... working very hard on 2020 because history, you can't forget history.
Yeah.
If you
we'll take back 2020 after 2024. It'll be interesting.
But there are many cases going on right now. You know that. I think you're involved in some of them. But there are many cases going on right now in different states. If you look at Wisconsin,
what's she involved in?
Wisconsin, they were one crazy vote away from turning over the election.
Trump lost Wisconsin.
A political whack job that voted the wrong way. And other judges on that panel just excoriated him. But you look at what's happened in some of these states, they get it. They know what happened. But you know what we have to do? Never forget that. I'm not one of these saying you have to forget it. So many people say, sir, put it in the background. Put it. You can't forget. Because if you forget, they're going to do it again. What we have to do is we have to win. Because, you know, you're talking about a...
He's shifting the message to, we're not going to forget 2020. But donate and vote for me in 24. That we're going to fix 2020 by voting for me in 24.
Level at which they can't do it. And to be honest, we did so well last time, I sort of thought we swapped them, but they used COVID to cheat, among other things. So they used COVID to cheat. We're not going to let that happen, and we're not going to hopefully have any of that. But we have to watch. The most important thing you can do is on election night, meaning election period, I'm sorry to say. You know, France just had an election recently. 36 million votes, all paper ballot. You had voter ID, and it was same day. So you had same day, voter ID, all paper ballot. The election was over at 10 o'clock. The numbers were cast. Everybody went home. Congratulations. There were tears and there was joy, you know? And that's what we should do. Same day voting. Because when you have voting that lasts for 44 days and everybody's looking around.
Well, I guess soon they're going to get 2020 back is the message here.
What are those things that are moving in and moving out? People have to have confidence in elections. People have to have confidence.
I'm very confident Trump lost in 2020.
Courage. That includes judges. We have judges that looked and they said, oh boy, I'm not turning this over. They didn't have courage. They didn't have courage to do what should have been done. But we can never forget that. And it just, a lot of people are continue on. We have to win, though, now. Now we have one coming up, and we have to win like never before. We have to get more votes than anybody ever got. And we have to watch those polling places, stand over those. You know, they threw our people that were watching, our poll watchers, they call them. They had thugs, in many cases, throw.
Those were not actually poll watchers. They were just people who showed up and said, I want to observe. There were, of course, poll watchers, Democrats and Republicans, even numbers of each, who were obviously allowed there.
Election. We have to have courage. And if we don't have courage, you're not going to have a country. I love your question. I love your question. Now we have to win, and we have to win bigger than ever before, and we'll get it all straightened out. Okay, we'll do one more. How about one more? Go ahead. Now, this is a bad question, or if I don't give a great answer, I'll do another one. Because, you know, you always... Elton John said, encores are very dangerous. You do a fantastic concert. Everyone's going crazy. Then you do an encore of a song. It's good. Then you do another encore, and the song doesn't work. And you leave. Everyone said, what a rotten job. But you're never going to say that about Trump, right?
There you go.
Let's go.
President Trump, my name is Brendan, and I would just like to know, what is your plan for dealing with the growing threat of North Korea?
North Korea has been a very good example of what intelligence is. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. We had a very tough start. I called him Little Rocket Man. I called him Rocket Man. I called him lots of things. He called us. And then one day I got a phone call, and they said, you know, we want to get together. And the Olympics in South Korea was coming up. Nobody bought it. They weren't selling anything. And all of a sudden, I got North Korea to participate in the Olympics, and the thing sold out like in 2 days. It was incredible.
What is he talking
about? We did a great
about?
job with North Korea. We will be able to deal with North Korea. I don't think this administration will be able to deal with North Korea. Okay, one more. Go ahead, one more. Yes, ma'am.
President Trump, I believe most Americans can agree that the radical left's defund the police movement was destructive to...
Doesn't exist.
It's still going on, too, by the way.
Absolutely. When you are president, what will be done to correct the...
You don't have to do anything. No police were defunded, so you don't have to do anything, interestingly enough.
and get them back on track.
So you're talking to the right person. We are taking care of our police. I did.
Other than we want to defund the FBI and the DOJ, and the Capitol Police were terrible on January 6th. Other than that, they support the police in some vague way we don't understand.
And Obama didn't want to get it out because he said it looked too tough. It didn't look good to give it. I said immediately, get it out. I gave billions and billions of dollars. You know what I'm talking about. All of this ex-military equipment. It was incredible. And for safety, including trucks that were armor plated, I gave it all to the police. We got it out. It was sitting there drawing dust, but very valuable stuff. We took care of our police. We are going to take care of our police, and we're going to make sure that we support our police, because our police can solve the problems of our cities instantaneously if you let them do their job. And we love our police, and we love our firemen and everybody else that does. But we have to support them, and we can't have them be afraid that if they use one wrong word, their life is ruined. We can't let that happen. And, you know,
which, by the way, isn't what's happening to police.
And you have bad apples. Every once in a while, something happens. It shouldn't happen. And we have to understand things like that can happen. We have to support our police. These are great American patriots. They used to do a job. Now they're not allowed to do the job. We have to allow, especially in our cities that are rotting and decaying, we have to let our police back. We have to let them do the job that only they can do. They're fantastic people, and we are with them, and we're going to help fund them. We're not defunding. We're going to fund our police. Thank you. Great question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. This is an incredible place. This was a great day. I enjoyed it so much. I want to thank Steve and all of these incredible endorsers, because that's a record-setting endorse. But I want to thank you all. God bless you all. We'll be back. God bless you all. That's good.
There you go. Wow. What a great speech, huh? I really do wonder, like, you go home from this thing and you go, what? I really liked it when Trump said the thing about trans. Like, it's all really wild stuff. So, you know, this is what it's going to be like the next year. I hate to break it to you. Debate's scheduled to start in August. There's really not much more to say. All right, everybody. I really appreciate you joining me. We heard the same grievances we've heard many, many times. And really quite an unhinged speech, but the same speech he's been giving for 7 years. If anybody's brain hurts, well, fortunately, it's over. I appreciate that everybody joined me, and we'll have our next stream very, very soon. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're following on Twitch. Make sure you've liked on Facebook. You'll be notified of future streams that way in a very respectful and inoffensive way. And I'll see you very soon.